Jessie here. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. For today's video, I have my weekly check-in for the first week in February. I'm going to take a look at all of my spending, and y'all, it was a lot. If you missed this transaction tracking video where I wrote out all of my expenses and talked about all the money we spent, go check it out. We spent a small fortune this week between bills and variable expenses. I'm going to use this information to fill out my hybrid budget worksheets. So if you've never seen the hybrid budget, actually goes like this. My expense tracker is on the back of the second page. It is a 2-page budget spread that allows me to keep track of absolutely everything in terms of my budget for the month. So there's a spot to put in my monthly budget, what I want to spend overall, and then there's also a place to break things down by week, which I really like to do to help me keep on track with my budget. You can kind of think of this as a budget and a weekly check-in, kind of all in one spread. There's a place to write in savings, debt payments, sinking funds, everything you spent by week. So if you wanted to use this for your variable expenses for the week, or if you wanted to break down your monthly bills, maybe you like to, split your bills up into weekly payments, you can do that. It's a really, really great system. I'm loving my hybrid budget. Honestly, this has changed the way I think about my budget, and it's been a really amazing change. I've had so many of you purchase my hybrid budget and message me and tell me that you finally found something that works for you, which is so humbling and so wonderful. So thank you to those of you that have purchased my hybrid budget or any of my other budget worksheets. I do have an Etsy shop, which I will have listed down below. You can go and check out all my budget printables. I have a ton of different patterns and designs. Lots of super pretty but super functional budget worksheets that you can print right in the comfort of your own home. So definitely go and check out my Etsy shop if you are interested. I also have a coupon code listed down below that'll take 15% off your order. So, go check it out if you're looking for a way to get started with budgeting. So I'm going to use the expense tracker that I've already filled out here to fill in some of the monthly stuff, like the bills that I've paid so far this month, and then we're gonna take a look at this sort of week 1 variable expenses and see how I did. I've said before that I like to break down my budget both monthly and weekly because this weekly amount helps me stay on track for the overall monthly budget, right? So essentially, I take my grocery budget and I kind of strategically plan it out, and I break it down into, 4 weeks. That way, if I spend this amount of money every week, by the end of the month, I'll be under budget. But I've also said that these numbers don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. If I go over budget for the week, which, spoiler alert, I'm pretty sure I'm over budget, like, in all of these categories. Not really, but yeah, I'm definitely over budget in groceries. It's okay. It just means that I need to adjust the budget for the weeks moving forward. And as long as I come in under budget overall for the month, I'm okay with it. So even though I budgeted $187 for groceries, and you are going to see that I blew past that, I'm still okay because I'm still under budget for the month. When I take a look at it by the week and I see, okay, so I didn't stick to this $187, that means I only have X amount of dollars left. In order for me to stay on track moving forward, I need to spend this much per week instead. So I just sort of use this weekly section as a guideline to help me stay on track, to help me be aware of, how much I have left, and it's been working out so well for me. When I was budgeting by paycheck, I would write out my budget for the week, and if I went over that budget, I would just simply flip the page to the next paycheck budget. My apologies, I forgot to turn my phone off. I would simply flip the page to the next paycheck budget, and it would be like out of sight, out of mind, and I wouldn't even think about it. Having it all on one 2-page spread that I come back to time and time again helps me to look at that and see, hey, don't forget, you've already spent a big portion of your budget. Don't continue to go crazy. Zip it up. So that's why I've been using the hybrid budget versus the paycheck budget method. And it's been working amazing for me. So let's go ahead and start filling this in now that I have yammered for 5 minutes. We're going to start with bills. I highlighted all of the bills in blue to make it super easy for me to find them. And I'm just going to fill in the actual amounts here. So for lot rent, we paid $533, which is exactly what I budgeted. So good to go there. For water, I paid $35.75, which is under budget. Cable, I paid $69. Hopefully you guys can see this. I know that the lighting's a little bit wonky in this video and I'm kind of all over the place, but hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing here. For Boost, I budgeted $120, and that is what I paid. For HBO Max, it was $15.84, and I budgeted $16, so under budget there. And then Camper, I budgeted $200 and I paid $200. So all of the bills so far for the month either were under budget or right on the money, so we are looking good there. For this expense here, it was cash. I pulled out all of our spending money in cash. You would have seen me do that in last week's video. So that means that all of our spending categories got exactly what we said they would. So 40 for my husband, 40 for me, 20 for Austin. This money's not necessarily spent, but it is out of our budget. And so I count it as spent, even though it's just kind of sitting in a cash envelope waiting to be spent. It's gone from the budget. So that's why I write it in there. For grocery, I spent a whopping $356 with, what did I say, 97 cents. So we had a big snowstorm forecasted, so I really wanted to get a ton of things to have on hand. And, you know, knowing that I had this $750 for our overall grocery budget for the month, gave me the license to do that and not to stress. So again, when I was doing paycheck budgeting, if something like this happened and I spent, you know, $356.95 instead of $187, what I would have done most likely is shrugged my shoulders and said, you know, we had a snowstorm, what can you do? And then I would have flipped the page to a new budget, and I still would have probably budgeted that $187 for the next week. But because we're trying to stick to a monthly budget, I know that I spent, you know, pretty much half my grocery budget in that first week. It means I really need to be aware of that and tighten up my spending for the subsequent weeks. So hybrid budget, definitely an eye-opener for me. Setting a monthly overall budget, definitely working out great so far. So yeah, we spent a ton of money on groceries this week, but you know, that's okay. We're still under budget for the month. For eating out, I budgeted $50, and again, that's essentially a quarter of our overall eating out budget, which is $200. But we only spent for eating out this week $19.73. So that's great. Under budget there. I mean, honestly, the fact that we spent $350 in groceries should mean that we didn't eat out a ton, because obviously we had plenty of food in the house, right? So that's that. For household, I spent $99.61, which is way over that $37 budget, but we're still under budget for the month. Overall for the month, I budgeted $150. So I know that we only got about $50 left. I need to make sure that I'm not spending more than that over the course of the next few weeks. For miscellaneous, I budgeted $25 and we only spent $4.97. So, oops, I skipped right over gas. So we'll go back to that in a second. So that was really great. And then for gas, I budgeted $50 and the amount we spent was $40. So we're under budget there. So for the week, if everything were equal and I wanted to spend, you know, a quarter of our budget, we would have spent $449. We obviously spent more than that, right? But again, it's not a big deal. It's not bad that I went over budget. It just helps me to stay on track and know that I have to spend less moving forward. So we spent $356.97 plus $19.73 plus $99.61 plus $40 plus $497 plus $40 plus $40 plus $20, $621.28. So really, it's not that bad in terms of variable expenses. We wanted to spend $449, we spent $621.28. That's really not that bad at all. And we're still under budget in all of my categories. So we're doing good. Next month, I might try writing out, using this as more of like a weekly check-in rather than giving myself a budget per week. I might start out with the total that we budgeted. So for grocery, like I would put $750 here and then what we actually spent and subtract it out and have the what's left be the budgeted total for next week. Use it more in that regard. The hybrid budget here is very personable. You can personalize it any way you want. It's very personable. That's not right, but you know what I mean. Personalizable? Wow. Words and I are not getting along today, but really, you can use this any way you want. So I might try that for next month. But for now, we're going to stick with the way I've been doing it, and I'm going to transfer all these categories down here. Grocery, eating out, household, gasoline, miscellaneous, my husband, myself, and Austin. And we'll figure out kind of what we have left from our grocery budget and then break it up by 3 weeks left. Okay? So for groceries, our overall monthly budget's $750. We're going to subtract out the $356.97 that we've spent, which gives us $393.03 left for the month. There's 3 weeks left, so I'll divide it by 3. That means that for groceries, my budget per week is going to be about $131, which is reasonable. Not bad at all. I'm just going to double check and make sure I did that right, because that seems like a lot, actually. Yeah, so that's very, very reasonable. I think we can definitely do that. All right, for eating out, I started out with $200. We spent $19.73. That's $180.27 left for the rest of the month. There's 3 weeks left. That means we have to stick to a $60 budget for eating out for the next 3 weeks. And again, if we go over that, it's fine. This is just a guideline. All right, household. We started with $150. We spent $99.61. So we've only got $50 left. Divided by 3, that's essentially $16 a week. So, and as you guys can see, I'm just dropping the change. So as long as we stick with that $16 a week, or, you know, if we don't spend anything for week 2 or week 3 and we spend the rest of it all in week 4, again, as long as I'm under budget for the month, I'm happy. I'm going to stop repeating that. I know that I'm like a broken record, but I had some people kind of confused about this, so I'm just trying to like reiterate it. All right, for gas, we started with $200 and we spent $40. That gives us $160 left. That's $53 essentially a week. Easy peasy. I don't expect that we will spend more than that in a week, so likely we'll be good to go for gas. For miscellaneous, our overall budget's $100 minus $497 that we spent. That gives us $95 left, or $31-ish a week. For our spending money, it's always the same. $40 for my husband, $40 for myself, $20 for Austin. So really quick, I'm just going to add up for a total. $391 is the total for the week. So if we stick with that $391, we'll be good to go. And if not, we'll probably still be good to go. This is working out so well for me, you guys. I've never been one to really think about how much I'm spending overall. For the last couple of years, we've just been paycheck budgeting. Everything was kind of lumped into that 1 week, and then I'd kind of forget about things and start fresh with a new week. And so, like I said, if we had weeks where we were way over budget, we would just turn the page and not think about it again. And so the amount we were spending overall for the month would be ridiculously high. Starting out with a monthly budget and trying to stick to that is so much better for me. So that's it for my weekly check-in. Quickly, I just stick this back in here. We have not had anything put into savings. For the savings challenges, I've decided to pretty much let go of all of the savings challenges with the exception of the envelope challenge that I'm using to help save for my youngest son's car. And I think what I've decided to do is just at the end of the month, when all of my bills are paid and all the variable expenses are done, I'm going to take whatever we have left over and I'm going to split that up between savings, sinking funds for the following month, and debt payments. And I'm just going to, at that point in time, pull 4 envelopes from my 50 envelope savings challenge so that it's still 1 per week, but I'm just kind of doing it all at once. And I'll either do it randomly or I'll do it based on kind of how much I have left and how much I want to put to savings. Trying to do all of the savings challenges meant less money for debt payments, and I just really want to prioritize debt payments. So we'll talk more about my debt payments at the end of the month. I can fill in these sinking funds. I keep forgetting to do this. I've already stuffed my sinking funds for the month, so if you missed that video, I'll link it in a card above. I just need to fill this out in my own time. But yeah, overall, I think even though we spent a small fortune this first week of the month with lots of variable expenses, lots of bills getting paid, we're still on track overall for the month. I feel really good about it, and I'm really loving this hybrid budget. So leave me a comment down below. What do you think of this budget method? You think that it would work for you? I am giving away some budget worksheets over on my video where I showed my March releases. So if you are interested in trying out my printables, go ahead and enter that giveaway. One lucky winner is going to win all of my March budget worksheets, which look like this. So go ahead and head on over and enter that giveaway if you're interested in winning all of my budget worksheets for March. And until next time, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. I post new budgeting and lifestyle content here on my channel every single week. I'd love to have you come back, and I'll see you guys then. Bye, friends.